Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Women in Technology Virtual Chapter February webinar. This year, Kathy Kellenberger and I have taken over the chapter and decided that we wanted to do more webinars than had been done in the past. We have two focuses this year. One is WIT-related topics, and the other is women speakers. So we'll try to have a mix of both in 2016. We'll also be doing a lot of promoting of other virtual chapters or companies that have female speakers. So let me make sure. We have about 30 attendees right now. We're going to go ahead and get started. So today, Sarah Johnson's going to show us how to use her tech shop in a box. Obviously, I'll let her sorry, hold on. I have to mute my work laptop. There. I'll let her get into the details of everything once I kick it over to her. So the PASS Women in Technology chapter has two upcoming webinars scheduled already. One is March the 2nd, and that is on gender inequality in technology and leadership. So if you're interested in attending that, go ahead and go get registered. If you're a member at SQL PASS of the Women in Technology virtual chapter, you should get notifications for all of these. And we have another one, teaching kids programming ages 10 to 17. Liz Langett's going to do that one in April. I don't think we have a firm date on that one yet. And if you're a female speaker or a WIT speaker and you're on the call, feel free to send an email to witvc@sqlpass.org and let us know if you're interested in presenting with us. A couple of other sessions that we'd like to highlight today are DBA Fundamentals, Kicking and Screaming, Replacing Profiler with Extended Events. That's Erin Stellato. I've seen her do this one. I don't know if it was at a SQL Saturday or if it was at Summit this year. It's a fantastic session. Erin's always great at that. We also have Beyond ZX Packet, Understanding Weight Statistics with Jess Borland, who is on SQL Cruise right now. So she's going to be all nice and tan when she comes back to do the webinar. So let me point out really quickly, both of those are DBA Fundamentals, which is also a virtual chapter. So go to sqlpass.org, look in your chapters. If you're not already a member, I encourage you to go ahead and join that one. You'll get notifications and attend sessions when you'd like. So the Professional Development virtual chapter coming up has Mickey Stewie, and this is both a woman speaker and a WIT topic, be a role model for women in tech through blogging. It's really about supporting other women in the community, in the SQL community. And I love Mickey. She's one of my favorites. She's also doing another session, Changing Your Habits to Improve the Performance of Your SQL. And this one's next week, and Pragmatic Works is sponsoring that one. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Sarah if she's ready. So, and she's unmuted. Sarah, are you ready to go?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, and I'm sure I'll see hands popping up here in a second. If you can't, let me go ahead and tell you, if you guys want, raise your hand, ask a question through the webinar. We'll handle those at the end, and I'm sure Sarah will be able to help you do anything it is that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Sarah, and if you have any questions, Sarah, let me know, okay?
Yeah, is it possible for me to, there it is, show my screen. Excellent. Cool. So let's go with this. Oops. And I'm going to shift some things around here, make this full screen, and I think I'm, okay. So, hi, I'm Sarah Johnson. I work with TechGirlz. We're a nonprofit that has been around for about 5 years, and we engage middle school girls with technology in an effort to eliminate the gender gap in technology careers. So, here's some information on the screen, my email address, you can contact me. These are the slides if you want to access them later, and hopefully we can email these out. And this is being recorded, so you can access these slides at any time. I'm here to talk about our Tech Shops in a Box program, ways that we're engaging industry professionals to teach 15 girls and change the face of technology. A little bit of background about me before we get started. I started working full-time with TechGirlz just this past summer. I'm the community outreach manager. And before that, I was a volunteer for 3 years, leading workshops and helping develop workshop content. And I have been working in technology for about 10 years, but I went to school for sociology and French. I eventually started taking classes in technology after a friend taught me about websites and how cool it was to use languages. And one of the first classes that I took was a SQL class, and databases made a ton of sense to me, and suddenly the world made sense when I could organize data. And I have a few programmer, web developer friends who refer to me as the one who thinks natively in databases. So I'm really happy to be speaking with you all today. Okay, into the meat of this. I'm just going to talk about our Tech Shops in a Box program from TechGirlz, what it is, who can do it, and what materials you need to make it happen. So our model for engaging girls with technology is to run 3-hour workshops. They're hands-on activities with technology. They're free for the girls to attend, and we have about 15 to 20 girls at each workshop. This is that we've been using for a few years, and we came across a great problem where for every workshop we had a waiting list of about 20 girls. So the girls want to learn the technology. Whatever people may think about girls in tech, they have been having fun at these workshops and they want to learn more. So what we did was we made our workshop content available online for anyone to use for free. And that's what we call the Tech Shops in a Box program. So when I say anyone, I mean anyone. We have parents who are organizing their own workshops. We have technology professionals, college students, high school students, and after-school groups have all taken the Tech Shops in a Box workshop content and run their own workshops to engage girls in their community. We've started getting the question when we first put this out last school year, what is it? Are you sending me a box? But it's all virtual. It's just like an outline of a workshop plan. What did we teach in those 3 hours? You know, what topics did we cover? What were the exercises? We also provide things like the timing and the slides that we used, and advice to people who are running the workshop. You know, a lot of people in technology want to give back to the community, but they've never taught kids before. So we have some advice to be an instructor, how to be a role model. And then we've also been seeing some teachers using this content, so we have some advice for them about how to work with technology, how to learn more. At the bottom of the screen is a link, ph.ly/TechGirlz lesson plans. That's where you can fill out a web form to get access to all of our workshop plans, again, completely free. You know, what we noticed when we were running our own workshops and when we started putting this content out there for people to use is the demand of the girls to learn about technology and get hands-on experience is so great that we just want to encourage people to engage them with the technology. Just give them the opportunity to get a taste of it and so that they can go out and learn more. Again, just go ahead and sign up and see the content that we have. This is what a workshop plan looks like. On the right is like a screenshot of our You Can Code workshop plan. This one uses Blockly, the drag and drop programming interface, to teach the basics of programming. It has the girls working through the Blockly games, which are like some puzzles, to understand how to speak to computers, essentially. So all of our workshop plans look like this. It's a template, and they all have a description of what the workshop is for your own reference, but also that you can use to publicize the workshop. The learning objectives, what are the girls actually going to learn about here? An assessment, we put this in there for the teachers so that they can evaluate if the workshop is effective. We also list all the resources and materials that you'll need. So again, we only provide the workshop content, but we'll outline and provide links to any software that's needed, a list of any hardware pieces that are required, and even things like paper, pen, pencils, name tags, just anything that we can think of that we've used to run that workshop in the past to make it easy for you to pull it all together. We outline the preparation, what you'll need to do prior to running the workshop, any software that needs to be installed, any specific room configuration, everything to go over the day of, including a backup plan in case the technology doesn't work the way that you expect. And then we get to the meat of it, the workshop content. So what exactly are we teaching the girls? What exactly are we going over? We provide talking points when we can, links to the slides, an outline of the exercises, questions to ask them afterwards. We have someone sit there and write down what is this instructor doing, and that becomes our workshop plan for you to use. In addition to that, we have extension activities. So if there are girls who are learning faster than others or have already done this before but came to the workshop anyways, extension activities are things that you can provide for them, that you can have them do to learn some more, to challenge them further. And also, they're great for the girls to take home after the workshop so that they can continue to learn on their own. All of our workshop plans are introductory level, so we're not teaching for comprehension, we're teaching to encourage them to learn more through other mechanisms, other programs, and online resources. And finally, we have some additional resources which you can also provide to the girls for them to learn more on their own, but also for you to brush up on the technology that you're teaching. And finally, teaching tips. We always provide teaching tips, advice on how to be a role model, just as a reminder, sort of the values that we look for in our instructors. Besides the workshop plans, we also have what's called a playbook, and that is a collection of our lessons learned over 5 years. So that has tips and guidelines on organizing the workshop. So not just being a role model and how to be an instructor to middle school girls, but also, do you have signs posted in the building to get to the workshop? Do you have permission slips? What does a permission slip look like? We have templates and forms, so the permission slips, reminder emails to the parents. Again, advice on teaching. I've mentioned that quite a bit, and it's one of the most important pieces. Again, not all technologists who want to give back to the community and encourage the next generation of women in technology have led a workshop before. And not all workshop instructors are entirely familiar with the technical content of the workshop, and they'll need a little nudge to go learn on their own. And the most important piece of what we have is the TechGirlz surveys. This is like an anonymous 10-question survey that we like to give to the girls at the end of each workshop that asks them about their attitudes on technology, both before the workshop, at home, and since they've completed the workshop. This is the meat of our program. For us, it's how we measure our impact. It's how we prove that A, girls like technology, and we should continue to encourage them, and B, this workshop was effective, and this is content that they enjoyed, and they want to keep learning more. So, everything that we provide is free, both for the girls and for you to use, and so we really appreciate any time that you can have these surveys filled out and provide us with any feedback. So, what technology do we cover? We cover a lot. We like to remind people that technology is not just about programming. So we cover topics like Ruby on Rails and game development, but also installing Linux and GarageBand for how to record a podcast and how to edit audio. We've got little bits for learning about sensors and circuits, and we have a workshop that uses Raspberry Pi and Scratch to turn light bulbs on and off, so really focusing on like the electrical engineering and the circuit building with a little bit of programming involved. When you're choosing a topic, you should consider what is your own expertise. Is this something that you can teach, or that's somebody that can teach? What devices do you have available? Some of them require a computer, some of them use Apple software, some of them actually work only on phones and tablets. Other things like Little Bits and Raspberry Pi have hardware requirements. And so what materials are available to you? You know, can you have the girls work in groups and share a computer? Or do you want them to each have their own computer? Are they going to bring a laptop? Are you prepared to troubleshoot their computer when you realize they have a virus on it and it's not working? Been there, done that. So just, you know, consider these things when you're choosing a workshop topic. The next thing that you'll need to figure out is your date and time. When do you want to run the workshop? We usually suggest allowing 1 to 2 months to prepare and organize the workshop. We often run workshops on Saturday afternoons. It's a great time, but we've also seen them run after school, like the 4 to 7 p.m. time frame is pretty good. And school holidays like Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, spring break, not always so good because a lot of people travel, but you know, it depends on your community and the girls in your community. But when you do choose a date, please let us know. We've got a link to a form, just, you know, what topic are you teaching, when and where. We'd love to help publicize these workshops, you know. We send out emails with upcoming events. We post it on our website, on social media. So as long as you have like a public registration for any girl in your community to attend, we're happy to share that. We encourage you to get help. So I've talked a lot about being an instructor. I haven't talked much about being an organizer. It's great to have an instructor and an organizer as two separate people. There's a lot to focus on for both people, and you know, making sure that you're checking in the girls and that they have a permission slip when they show up to the workshop, and then also teaching the content can be a bit overwhelming. So do it with a friend. We also recommend that you recruit teaching assistants. So get like 3 or 4 people to help out during the workshop and provide individual support if there's any technical issues, or if there's you know, girls of different learning abilities and some are progressing ahead, you can have the teaching assistants provide challenges with the extension activities, or if there's some that aren't understanding the material as quickly, they can help those girls keep up or answer questions as they come up. We try to go for a 1 to 5 teacher to student ratio, but it'll depend on, you know, who's available, the size of your room. If you want them to work in small groups of 3 and each have a facilitator, you might want a few more teaching assistants or helpers. But definitely don't try to do this on your own. It's much more fun when you get help. And we'd like for you to report back. As I mentioned, we have the attendee surveys or the student surveys. We like to know how many girls are taught with the contents, so how many attended the workshop. Again, that's part of our impact measurement, and that's how we can show our funders that we're actually making a difference. We also appreciate your feedback on the workshop plan. Was it, you know, did it work well? Were there stumbling points for you, questions that you had that weren't answered by our contents, and what would you do differently? We're also very open to getting new workshop topics, and sort of a spoiler alert, we don't have a workshop about databases or SQL yet, so we're still looking for someone to create that content. And finally, a blog post. As I mentioned, we like to share what people are doing, and it's always good for people to read about what other folks are doing with the tech shops in a box and how other folks are engaging girls with technology. So we're happy to share all of that on our website, on our social media, you know, cross-post what content that you have on your blog. Just write about it, share what you did, take some photos, and we're happy to share it. So the questions that we get are, I have kids in my community, I need to find an instructor. There's a lot of resources out there that can help you with this. So you can host an event at a library, a university computer lab. That's great because they already have computers set up usually. At a tech company, like in a conference room or a meeting area. And tech user groups are also very supportive of the tech shops in a box and often have a place where they meet on a regular basis so that you can then use for a workshop. If you are an instructor, which probably most of you will be in this position, you need to find a location. You can try the library, university, and try your own company. You know, you just need a conference room that can fit about 15 girls. Make sure you have Wi-Fi if you need it for the activity. Most of them do. And then recruit kids from your community. Put the word out through schools to other parents, and just put it out there through event calendars, any way that you can think of, and we're here to help you with that as well. So if you have a location and you need to find an instructor, again, it's the same resources. Sorry about that. The library, the university, the tech company, and the tech user groups. And for recruiting kids, again, we're here to help with that. So that's the rundown of what the Tech Shops in a Box program is. Again, it's essentially sign up to get access to the workshop plans. Choose the topic that you want to teach to girls in your community. Choose a date when you want to run the workshop. Let us know, and you're ready to teach 15 girls and change the face of tech. And I think I'm ready to take some questions now.
Okay, so far, I hate having to do this. So I have a couple of questions so far. And one of them I think you've already answered, which was, will they be able to download the PowerPoint? So I thought you'd want to hit that again, exactly where they can get that. Is that the web address that's on the screen?
That would be the web addresses at the beginning, so I'm going to flip through all the slides really quickly. Hold on.
Okay.
There it is. That's the one.
Okay, and let's see. Hold on. And for what age group do you find that these sessions work the best?
Great question. We target the 11 to 14-year-old girls. The reason we target them is we're trying to engage girls before they start opting out of STEM classes. Research shows that girls opt out in high school, so we figure before they've really made up their mind about what they want to do or what they're interested in or what's boring and what they don't like, catch them at that very influential middle school age, and get them in the room with their friends. The materials themselves can certainly be adapted. We do get this question quite a bit. It's like, well, I had 11 and 12-year-old girls and we didn't get through all the content. Like, well, that's fine. Do what you can and adapt the content to how the girls are responding. We've seen people teach younger girls, like 9 and 10 years old, with some of the topics, and they'll just use the first 1 or 2 sections. The content of the workshop is broken up into sections, usually like 2 or 3 different activities, and they each have like a time frame. But again, that time frame is suggested and probably focused on like the 13-year-old age. I'd say 13-year-olds will be able to handle all of the content, absolutely, and plus or minus a couple of years there.
Okay, so I've had a colleague do your Tech Shops in a Box. Lindsay Clark does it tomorrow, but Melody Zacharias did this, I think early in January, and referencing the age group that she used, she had girls that were under 14. She had 11 girls do it, and she mentioned, you were on this email chain, Sarah, where she talked about there's a level. They did the Blocky workshop, and she said that there's a level in there where the girls get to make whatever they want with shapes and color them any color that the girls got together. They do a cat, they did a dog. They really collaborated. That lesson worked well. And your recommendation for her for the next one was to do the HTML workshop next. Right. Because that seemed to fit well with that level that gave them the creativity that they wanted and gave them a lot of the freedom that they probably wanted to be able to do their own. So I think to add on when somebody asked about ages, as you decide what age you're going to try to do a session for, take a look at the sessions and figure out I guess what would be more suited for them, or what you think that group of girls would want to do creatively, or what they want to, at the end of it, what they want to walk away with, I think. So
yeah.
Go ahead. We have a couple.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing that up. You know, the feedback that we get most often on the surveys from the girls is, you know, we ask them, what did you like best and what did you like least about the workshop? And what they like best time and time again is that they could do whatever they wanted, that they could be creative, that they could make something, that they could, you know, like within the context of making a website, say, they could put in website content about anything that they wanted, and that's what they seem to love over and over again. And it blows my mind almost how simple it is, like just giving them the freedom to explore with it and putting the technology in their hands so that they can create something.
Okay, so the next question is, has this been tried with Girl Scouts? Have you ever partnered with Girl Scout troops?
Not officially. We've had a couple of Girl Scout troops who are interested in the content, and I would love for them to go ahead and run workshops with this. About 2 years ago, we talked to the Girl Scouts, and the troop leaders that we talked to said that there wasn't a badge that fit with any of the workshop topics. But now there's like a media one, and I forget the other one, but there are more Girl Scout troops like making websites or making videos about things. So, I mean, and those fit with our workshop topics, like the make a website using HTML, make a website using WordPress, video editing, and podcasts like audio editing. So it should. I don't know the reason why it wouldn't work with Girl Scouts.
Right. So Thomas asks, can we attend another instructor session to see how this works?
You might need to clarify what you mean by instructor session. I am certainly available to talk to you in more detail about how it would work for you. I do run virtual info sessions every couple of weeks. They're on Eventbrite with TechGirlz.org, but it's essentially what I went over today, so that would pretty much be a repeat of this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to, if you have some people who you want to lead a workshop, I'm absolutely available to do like a virtual training, you know, specific to you, specific to a topic, or specific to, you know, your community or your scenario. So please email me and we can set something up.
So, and Thomas also asked, would having a male-female mix of instructors be received well by the students? But so let me blend it with another question that Steve Cantrell has asked, who runs the DBA Fundamentals virtual chapter, actually. He says, so if we talk to a school IT manager, will they balk at just doing this for girls and not both? So I think those two questions probably can go together.
Yeah, great questions. So we certainly are not opposed to having male teachers, male instructors, male volunteers, and the girls have not seemed to have an issue with it. We had a wonderful session on JavaScript recently with a male teacher, and you know he had fun with it, and the girls had fun. And you know, part of the issue that when I remind people, I'm like, well, there's only 25% women in technology fields, so there kind of aren't enough women to have all women instructors, and that's part of the problem. So that's certainly not a problem. And also with the schools, with the attendees, we've had co-ed workshops. It's certainly great when you can have a workshop with just girls, but we also recognize that, you know, for schools to use this content, it's not always possible for them to have a single-sex environment. And in fact, many of them are prohibited by the government from, you know, creating programming just for girls. So, you know, using whatever way you can, at least like the content has been approved by middle school girls, so even if it is a co-ed situation, it's content that should resonate with the girls more than some of the standard curriculums that are out there.
Okay, great. So Cynthia asks, between the software and other equipment expenditures, do you have an average cost for these lesson plans?
That's a good question. We haven't looked at an average cost for the lesson plans. There is a huge variety. Things like Lego Mindstorms, those kits can run a couple $100. The Raspberry Pi, the kit that you need for this workshop, I think is around 50 or 60, and they may have changed the prices. However, like the HTML and CSS one, if the kids bring laptops or you can get your hands on computers, the software is free. The JavaScript one, it just uses a web browser. So we try to have as many free workshops where you have no cost for materials as possible, but there are a few that have more of a cost. Additionally, we usually take a break in the middle of a 3-hour workshop and give them like some snacks. For that, we spend like $20. Hopefully that answered your question.
Okay, and a follow-up question, I think, to the earlier one, can we observe a workshop in action? I think the answer is probably, as of right now, workshops aren't streamed. No one's recorded an actual workshop happening.
Right. So yeah, we most of our workshops are run in the Philadelphia area, and we do welcome observers. We do require that you get the complete background check documentation completed before you attend a workshop because you're interacting with kids. So if you see a workshop on our website that's happening in your area and you want to attend, just ask me and we'll figure out if that can happen. In most cases, it's okay. And as far as filming one, we are trying to record a workshop so that people can see what it looks like. We have a YouTube channel with like bits and pieces, but it's not like a full workshop that shows, what the instructor's doing and all of that. But yeah, thanks for that question, Weird. It's a good idea to have that video out there. So more requests we get for it, the more likely we'll have it up soon.
I think a lot of people's hesitancy, I mean, including my own, is having never seen this in action. What if I do it wrong? What if I'm not doing it right? So I think that's probably what a lot of people would be concerned with. Kim Wimple actually specifically asks, is there anyone in the Albany, New York doing one of these classes?
We haven't had one there. No, we haven't had one in the Albany region, and I don't know that we've even had a request for our workshop content from the Albany region.
So Kim, if you're there, then send Sarah an email and get something started. So Diana Irish, fantastic last name, by the way. That's my last name. Never met another woman I wasn't related to with that last name. She said she's never run a workshop before. She's a database developer. But what workshop would you recommend that she get started with?
Good question. There's a couple. So the You Can Code workshop, that one's fun because it's like online games essentially to learn about the basics of programming. And it's done on a website, so there's no software installed, and it's a website that works across devices. So, it's minimal effort on the preparation and securing devices and all that. One of the other really great basic ones, if you're not very comfortable with like programming, is designing mobile apps. I have to say I had not done any mobile app design or development before, and what I did was I went through the workshop content myself, tried out the exercises on my own, and did some background research on mobile app designing and was able to lead the workshop. So that one actually doesn't even require devices for most of the workshop. It's really about the user experience of a mobile app. So defining what the mobile app does, defining the functions, and then you have the kids draw out the screens for the actual mobile app. And it's done on paper, and then there's a free app called Prototyping on Paper where you can take pictures of the screens that they've drawn and create an interactive prototype of a mobile app on a phone. So that's nice because you only need one mobile phone per like group of students. And again, there's not much like technical expertise required. What I did was read about Apple and Android both have websites with like the principles of their mobile app design, and that really helped give me some background information. So those are the ones that I strongly recommend. Another good one is WordPress. If you've ever created a website with WordPress, or even if you haven't, like go in and create a website and try out like their interface. And again, that's free software, and it's done online, so no installation required. And that's a pretty good one for the basics of what is a website and how to create one and administer it.
Okay. So let's see, Catherine, who is attending today from Oslo, Norway. I assume she's actually at home today. Um, she wants to know if the workshops are US only, or would it be okay to translate the content and organize workshops in other countries?
It would be wonderful to organize workshops and even translate the content for other countries. In fact, we just had that happen. We had a woman in Paraguay run workshops. It was the first time that they had workshops for girls in her region. And she took the content and translated it into Spanish. So we have 4 of our topics that are available in Spanish now. There have also been workshops in Georgia, in Eastern Europe, and then British Columbia and Canada as well. So yeah, anywhere that you can take the content and adapt it to your community. Please go ahead and please tell us about it. It'd be wonderful.
Okay, so let's see. Thomas asks, where are good places to advertise an upcoming workshop in your community besides a school?
Yeah, that's another good question. So we start out with word of mouth often, telling people in your company and your friends in your neighborhood. Sometimes that can be enough to get middle school girls to show up. There's also usually free event calendars online for most communities. So posting it there, finding like the kids-focused event calendars or the tech-focused event calendars, or just the local newspaper sometimes. We had a lot of success with that in North Carolina, actually. So those are the typical places that we use, and then please let us know, because chances are, if you're not in Albany, we'll know someone who's contacted us already. Sorry, Albany, but please let us know, and we can certainly help you brainstorm and reach out to organizations in your area and figure out how to promote it. But like I said, it's amazing how finding the girls to attend has never been an issue. And I don't recall what the population of the town that Melody Zacharias is in, but I remember looking it up, and it was really small. Yeah.
She is 2 degrees west of the middle of nowhere, and she had 11 girls attend, or 14 girls. I don't remember. So yeah, she's way out there. So let's see. So Diana Irish, again, it's more of a comment. Diana, I'm going to encourage you to get in touch with Sarah. It's just Sarah at techgirlz.org. She says she's in New Hampshire. They run a STEM conference for middle school girls called Expanding Your Horizons, and they'd like to incorporate a workshop into their conference if they haven't done any programming workshops yet. So Diana, if you're still on, send Sarah an email or give her a call or something like that, and I'm sure that you two can work something out.
Yes, please. We actually have some TechGirlz alumni, some girls who attended our workshops, moved up to New Hampshire and ran their own workshop there. And it's a family with 4 girls, and each girl actually has their own online business, which is how engaged with technology they became after coming to our workshops. So they've been running some workshops up in I think it's Concord region in New Hampshire. So that would be fun. Please get in touch with me.
So Holly Simmons asks, do you have a list of where these workshops have taken place?
Sort of. We publish all the workshops on our website under the TechShops upcoming events section, and you can see all of the past workshops that have happened. I could also we have a list. I don't think it's published of every region or every city that a workshop has been in. But let me tell you some quick stats. So we have engaged with us and people in the community running workshops. We've engaged 2,000 girls for our first 4 years, and this year we've already reached almost 1,000 girls. And most of the workshops have been in Philadelphia. There's a lot happening in the Raleigh-Durham area. We had 1 in Tennessee, a couple in Massachusetts. We also this year had Paraguay, British Columbia, Georgia, I think, New Hampshire, and Chicago. I think that's almost everything right now. Last year we had 40 community-run workshops, and this year so far we've had 38 since September, and our goal is to have 100 community-run workshops by the end of August.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Can the video casting topic be made more generic for non-Apple use? Say you use something like Sony's Movio Studio software or similar.
Yeah, thank you. So the person who created the workshop plan had a MacBook, so they used all Apple software, but it can certainly be adapted. Something I didn't mention is most of our work is done by volunteers. We're very small. We're 2.5 staff right now, and I think all of the workshop content, has been developed by volunteers. So it can certainly be done, and if you're offering, that would be even more fantastic.
So that question was from Peter Schott. So Peter, if you think that's something that you could do, feel free to get in touch with Sarah, get in touch with me if you want me to facilitate between the two, or if you could recommend someone who might be interested in helping adjust that video casting topic. I mean, we'd love.
Yeah. And the content itself is like the topics of that workshop
Peter
are very.
Peter followed up with he wants to look at the materials to see if it's doable.
Yeah, so from my perspective, it's really about video editing and the content of the video. And the reason that it's Apple specific is we have screenshots for the Apple software. So I think what's really required is just getting screenshots of a Windows-based software so that people can follow along and not be confused if they're new to the software. So that's the bulk of what's needed for that. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. So Melissa Kastner, she's taught college and high school. She's a database administrator and an ASP.NET developer. I'm not going to ask you to expand on how that happened, but she said she wants to start doing this with her Girl Scouts and then branch out into the wider audience. But I think that's a great idea. I think starting with Girl Scouts, the girls that you know that you're familiar with, is probably a really good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say we usually have about 15 to 20 girls per workshop. I've heard people who have had 30, they end up splitting them into 2 groups. 15 is really that sweet spot of, they focus on what you're saying and you can help them through any individual issues. But also I've seen workshops with like only 5 people. Like a mom has run a workshop and had her daughter's friends come over. So there's certainly no limit on how few girls you have.
So Peter says that he'll be sending an email, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
Are there any workshops scheduled upcoming in Charlotte, North Carolina specifically?
We don't have any in Charlotte yet, only in the Raleigh-Durham area, but I would love to help you get one set up in Charlotte. Yeah. And if I may, I would like to put in a plug for some grown-up events. There's this Women in Tech Summit is a one-day conference for women in technology. It's not exclusive to women, but it's focused on women. And it's actually happening in DC on March 20th, Philly on April 9th, and Raleigh on April 30th. And the reason that it's related, not only for women in technology, but it's actually a fundraiser for TechGirlz.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you're in any of those areas around those dates, not only will it be fun to attend, we have good talks and hands-on workshops as well, but also I will be there.
So you said March 20th was where?
In Washington, D.C.
Okay, there is a SQL Saturday in Richmond, I think March the 19th.
So, sorry, it is the 19th, my bad. It's Saturday.
Well, but that's in Richmond, so why don't you email me all that information, Sarah, and I can make sure that we help publish that on our WIT page and through our WIT Twitter account.
Great, that would be wonderful.
And so Cynthia just asked if you have a website that lists all the places and dates that you've just mentioned. Is that up on your website?
It's not on the TechGirlz website. It's womenintechsummit.net, and I will be sure to send that out.
Yeah, so if you'll send that to me, and I'll put it up on the WIT SQLPass.org page as well. So we'll provide a link, and maybe we can publish those dates I don't know if everybody on the call is not familiar with the wit.sqlpass.org site. There are several different tabs you can go to, and I'll try to make sure that we get that information up on our website as well. If nothing else, a link to what she's just talked about. So I have a lot of people are commenting just like, thank you so much, and they're going to use this for different things specifically. So that's awesome. I think at this point there's no more actual questions unless somebody can type real fast. Then I think we're probably good. Oh, somebody asks, Melissa said something about the cost, but that's all. So I'm not sure what she wanted to ask.
We like free. We try to keep things free. Yeah. Interesting thing about cost actually is I said, we use volunteer instructors and people to develop the workshop topics, but we have been asked if somebody could pay an instructor to lead the workshop, and we try to keep things in the spirit of TechGirlz free as much as possible, but we also understand that time is valuable, and if you want to get expert help, you sometimes need to pay them. So if somebody ends up doing that, it's certainly not like against the rules, but yeah, that's a question we've received about cost at times.
She asked the question earlier about cost, and I said that you would revisit it, so I'm trying to make sure that I don't skip that.
Yeah, again, so we try to make sure that the workshops can be run at no cost as much as possible. We usually ask people to donate their space, for 3 hours, 4 hours, and much of the software is free, but things like the photo editing workshop with Photoshop is not free. Sometimes you can use a trial if you want to use it just for that workshop, but you need to kind of make sure that you've got the criteria and the trial date factored in when you plan the workshop.
And Justin Randall followed up. He did ask this question earlier, and I kind of skipped it. He said, we mentioned something about looking for someone to write a class, but that you missed what the topic was, and I think it was database work, right?
Absolutely, yes. We do not have a workshop dedicated to databases or data organization or SQL or any of those wonderful related topics, and I would love to see one. I actually haven't come up with one that would be interesting to middle school girls. It's interesting, I can't teach people about databases because I just understood them so well at first. It's hard for me to break it down to someone who knows nothing about them. So if somebody else can do that, I would love to hear about it.
So Justin says he'd love to help, and I just sent him your email address to have him specifically to have him. So let's see. Sherry asks if that Women in Technology event in DC is free.
That one is not, unfortunately, because we do use it as our fundraiser. Instead of having like a gala or a fundraising event, we run the Women in Tech Summit. I think full price tickets are about $90 for one day. Yeah, but there may be early bird tickets for Philly are available through February 10th. I forget what the date is for DC.
Okay. Vanessa confirms. Yep, $90 and $75 is early bird.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to change my screen right now and start looking things up. So
it's fine. So I think we can, unless somebody else has another question, we can go ahead and wrap this up. Sarah, thank you very, very much for this.
Thank you too.
I'm so thrilled at how well this went. This was our first webinar of 2016, and I think we started out really well. I think whoever comes next has a pretty high bar to jump over. So.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure, and and thank you for contacting me and asking me to speak about this with your group, because I hadn't actually heard of SQL PASS before. So this has been slightly educational for me as well.
There are a lot of us actually, all the different virtual chapters that we have, and we have a large summit that we attend, usually the last week of October, first week of November, and there's, I think, somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 of us there. So
Wow, nice.
we're tight. We tweet a lot too. You should follow us on Twitter. You'll do nothing else all day but follow all of us on Twitter. So
Awesome.
so again, thank you very much, guys. Go to wit.sqlpass.org. Check out the upcoming webinars that we have. Go to your SQL Pass account and check out all the other virtual chapters that they have. There's free training almost every day of the week. And then go to techgirlz.org and check them out, promote them to your friends, find somebody who can help get girls involved in technology in middle school. She's right, that's when we lose them. I have a daughter who just entered 9th grade. It's why I do women in technology panels. It's why I'm running the virtual chapter now, because it matters, because it absolutely matters. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day, and I'm glad you could attend. Thanks again, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks for your feedback, everyone, and your questions are very helpful.
Thanks. Bye-bye.